Hello,
Welcome back from Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Woo!
I see you're here, but I don't know what kind of state you're in. So how are we doing? Give us the systems check. Are we okay? Are we alive?
We're alive. We're alive. Actually, everything was really good in Vegas. Felt great. Yeah, today my belly's a little off, which is weird. So we're gonna persevere, though. Better here than Vegas. Vegas, you
Yes,
just want to be
agreed.
operating at full capacity, which I was. Had a nice steak, which I haven't had any. I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but I've been mostly eating pescatarian. Have we talked about this?
It's probably come up in the gallbladder
Yeah.
discussions.
So I've
Yeah.
been mostly eating that way, but whatever. We're at this really nice steakhouse, and I was like, obviously, gotta have a steak. Had a steak. One of the best steaks I've ever had, I have to say. It was
Whoa.
unbelievable. Yeah, it was a fantastic steak. Poppy Steakhouse. If you've never been to Poppy Steakhouse, check it out. It's sort of a scene. It's like a nightclub, but instead of dance floor, there's like tables and
Is that the one where they have the
steaks.
steak in the
Yeah,
briefcase?
the briefcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to Poppy's.
I've been to Poppy's.
So yes, Poppy's. Why we didn't have the briefcase steak. We were thinking about it, but Taylor wasn't with us, and so we were like, "Yeah, we'll just get the regular steaks." But I had a filet mignon it was unbelievable, unbelievable. It was fantastic.
Well,
Like I said,
that's a good return from pescatarianism. That's a pretty
yeah,
high
yeah,
bar. I like that
came
for
back
you.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yes, sides were great. Had some truffled corn, which I don't even like truffle. Truffled corn was fantastic. So yeah, it was cool. Won at poker, which
There
was
we go. That's what I
awesome.
was looking for. Give us
Yep.
the numbies. How'd we do?
We're up like 11,000, I think.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
And it should have been more like 14, but so it was like the whole
$11,000?
yeah. It's nice.
I
Playing
gotta get
well.
into gambling.
I know. I keep trying to tell you. We got to get
This
you on
is
the poker.
crazy.
They're out there trying to give you their money. You don't have to all this hard work you're doing. You're
What
making
the
these
hell am I
videos, you're doing all stuff.
doing?
I don't know what you're doing. You could be out there just gambling and living it up.
Such an idiot. Okay, how did you win $11,000?
Being good at poker. So
Wow.
yeah, but mostly played Pot Limit Omaha for the people who know. Did a little bit of No Limit. Did a little bit of I don't even know if I can explain this whole thing. I'm just gonna say it for the people who know. I don't know if you want to go through the whole thing, but Pot Limit Omaha, high low, double board bomb pot was this game I played, which
No,
was
this
sort
is
of
an
a
hour
crazy.
episode. We don't have time to get into that.
So I
That's
won.
too
I
many.
won
That's too
nice
many
hand there.
modifiers.
Yeah,
Pot
it's kind of
limit,
a
high low,
crazy
double bowl. What?
double
There's,
board bomb
yeah,
pot.
same thing.
Yeah.
Bomb pot.
So you
Okay.
have two
Well, that sounds fun
boards
for you.
and you there's no pre-flop action, so it's a bomb pot, so everybody at the table's in the pot. Anyway, that's
I
a
feel
more of a
like the
gambling game.
longer the name of the game, the more the odds are that you're going to lose all your money quickly.
That's yeah.
It's
This
like,
is
oh,
not
you can bet on 16 different actions, and you're like,
right.
what if I lose them all at once? Wow, that sucks. That's too bad.
I don't think that's the game you should start in. I think we have to
Okay.
start you a little simpler than yeah. So I had the full range of emotion though, because I was overall playing amazing. Which is since I got sick and everything, this is the longest I've played. Like I haven't had like I've gone for like a night and played. I
Mhm.
haven't been away and played 3 or 4 days. I know, and Vegas actually tends to be somewhat tougher competition than like your local card house because people are going there to play poker, and they're even if they're not professionals, they're people who are into it, so they might know a little bit more. So yeah, so played really well. Super happy with my play. Had one terrible call. So I was at this hard 5-10 no limit game. So just regular no limit hold'em. And it's 8-handed, so 8 people. And there's like 7 of us who all know what's going on. Right. So I'd say there's probably like 3 professional players, and the other 4 of us are like strong recreational players. And then there's one guy.
Chaos agent.
Yeah, he's the chaos agent. He's kind of got the like Russian oligarch little thing going
Yeah.
on. He's just dumping money into the game. So everybody's just trying to get this guy. They're just trying to get in pots with him, and like because he's playing every hand. And I hit trips against this guy. He made a huge bet on the flop. I called, which I should have just went all in right there, but I just called. And then a flush card comes on a turn. And he bets big. The floor was talking to me. The guy runs the floor because I was supposed to move to the PLO game, and so I was kind of distracted. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just called it when I should have just folded. And of course, he has a flush. I still had outs, but I didn't get there. So I lost a big pot to him, which is why it should have been 14,000. But
You lost a big pot to the guy who didn't know what he was doing.
so listen,
Ian,
I know.
what's going on?
So, dude,
You're talking a big game, and then the Russian oligarch is beating
dude,
you.
This is what I'm saying. I was telling the guys in Vegas, I was like, this is literally like the closest I've ever been to crying over a poker hand. Like I was like so mad at myself, and it was like this whole multiple levels. I'm just personally mad at myself because I know better. I know what this guy is doing. I literally know if anybody gave me this hand history, I would tell them, of course, you have to fold there. It doesn't matter. You have trips. This guy's never bluffing here. But then there was this whole other level because it's like the 7 people who are good players, we were all in the know. So there was like a professional embarrassment on my part.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't show your face there anymore.
Yeah, so it was like everybody's like looking at me, they're like, "Whoa, he made that call."
You kind of had this camaraderie going of like we're the smart guys, and then you went and you're like, actually, I'm a dumb guy. Oh no,
I'm dumber than the oligarch guy.
Oh,
like
no.
you people thought I was playing well and knew what I was doing. No, I'm just a big freaking idiot.
So embarrassing. You bring shame to the show, Ian.
Seriously.
Hopefully, you didn't give him stickers.
I did have stickers with me, but I didn't give them any. No.
Good. I don't want those people. I don't want to be associated with you in those people's minds.
Dude, but seriously, I was actually embarrassed, and I was so mad. But you know what? I was very happy with myself because, so like I said, the floor was telling me I have to go to this other table. So right after that hand, I went to the other table. And I was just infuriated, right?
Oh man! Like so you embarrassed yourself and then you walked away.
But that part was good. I was glad to get out of there. I was like,
oh, I don't know.
So embarrassed. I know. I wanted to try to stay and get the money back, but you know what? It probably would have been bad anyway, because then you're playing stupidly and whatever. So
they call that being on tilt, just so you know.
Yes, exactly. I was on mega super tilt, and I played like 2 hands at the other table, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get up. I'm tired. I'm super ultra tilted. I'm just gonna go up to my bedroom and go to bed. And that's what I did. Which I don't really do that. So I was very proud of myself. That was all part of my playing good, other than the one bad decisions. Yes, poker went very well. Yeah, and the PLO games were pretty tough. There was like these 2 European professionals who were just like living at the hotel, like playing the game, like grinding it and crushing it every day. They have like, 10 grand in front of them. So navigating those guys, a couple other strong players. So yeah, so went good. Vegas is awesome. Love Vegas. Flew the Mint there and back. I don't know if you ever flown Mint, but it's like
don't know what that is.
JetBlue first class kind of thing. We have your
own
little pod.
It's great. That's awesome.
Great. Lying flat, good stuff.
Did you do any of the WWE stuff?
Oh yeah, so we went to WrestleMania. Yes.
Okay, so you went to that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Secondary to poker, but
yeah, that was kind of like the purpose of the whole trip for some people, not clearly not for you.
Ostensibly the purpose. Yeah, so that's actually I was there because Adam Wathan invited me out. They were going to WrestleMania, him and Taylor and the guys from Vehicle. And so I went out there, went earlier than all of them, played poker. The very beginning, I wasn't necessarily gonna go to WrestleMania because it wasn't a ticket. Then Taylor had to go home early, so he went to the first day. WrestleMania is 2 days. Why the hell is WrestleMania 2 days? It's insanity. So anyway, Taylor went to the first day. I went to the second day. I haven't watched wrestling in 30 years, but it was cool. It was cool. It was an interesting vibe,
Is it all still pretend? It's all play acting.
So this was very interesting.
This makes
it's
no sense to me. No sense whatsoever.
When it's just all scripted, but
no sense.
It was interesting being there because I think I understood more of that now because it's just a different form of if you like movies or if you like novels or if you like any fictional work, right? This is just a different form of fiction. That's another presentation of it. So it's like everybody knows it's fictional, but you're just there for the storyline, which is why there was a huge drama because like apparently The Rock, who you all know who The Rock is, right? Like
from Fast and Furious, yeah,
exactly. So The Rock has been, he owns part of it now or whatever.
Of course he does. He owns everything,
right? And he was supposed to be there. They didn't advertise him being there, but he was in part of the storyline leading up to all this of the main event that was happening. And then The Rock didn't show up. So everybody was disappointed.
I bet.
People were very upset. So it was kind of weird. They took a big L on this, I think, because people were expecting The Rock and he was like a key part of the storyline and he didn't show up. And so everybody was perturbed, I would say. So big L for the WrestleMania for people who are in the know, but I was not in the know. I was just letting it wash over me. It was great. Yeah, all scripted. But you know what's very interesting about it is it's even faker in real life. Like these, like you can just really tell like they're not hitting each other. Like because there's not even like the camera angle to like we were at like the
Totally.
reverse of the main cameras. We're on the other side, so it's like just like you can just see they're totally missing. You're like barely hitting them. But
This makes no sense to me.
the interesting part was, while that part was even worse than on TV, the physicality was actually better. I was like, holy cow, they are very impressive, the physical things they're doing. Like I was more impressed than when I've seen it on TV. Because it's just amazing to see a human like do a backflip through the air and like land on somebody and like they manage to not get hurt while doing all these things.
Right.
So like that part is actually more impressive in person.
Okay, so it's all scripted, so we can't call it a sport. We can't call it a competition.
It's sports entertainment. That's what they call it.
So is this most closely like ballet for men? Is that what we would call it?
Oh yeah, I think that's probably like a good way to think about it.
It's just a nice presentation of physicality, and it's just there's
like
no
the
there's
opera, right?
yeah,
There's a storyline.
sure.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is.
Because even competitive ice skating is scored and is like it's an actual competition.
Ostensibly a competition, yeah.
So we can't even do like this isn't scored. This is just play acting.
It's literally
so it's either theater or ballet, but
something
for guys.
Like
yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, you can't drink beer at ballet.
No, so
at least they don't want you to, I guess.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good vibe overall. People were nice and oh geez, what else? Yeah, WrestleMania was good. Oh, I love doing stuff like this. I love stuff like this. So we're leaving WrestleMania and the guys were like, let's go get a taxi. I was like, we're never gonna be able to get a taxi. There's like 70,000 people walking out of this building. There's not gonna be any taxi. But whatever. We go to the taxi place. We could have walked back to the hotel. It's like a mile and a half. But
what is this? Europe? I'm not walking.
Exactly. I was with proper Americans. So like, let's find a taxi. All right. So no taxis, of course, because there's 70,000 people all looking for a taxi. But there's a bunch of guys there with like private party bus van things.
Here we go.
And I was like, that's what we're doing, right? So I'm like, dude, how much for your party bus? He's like, $150 to go a mile. I was like, you are sold. So we got in the party bus. He had drinks in there. We had some drinks.
What?
We had 80s rock band music playing. It was great. So we had
and you made it out in no time.
And we made it out instantly. It was like, boom, we were back. And it was great.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. Good for you.
I just love when money solves problems like that. It's like
those are the best kind of problems because there are a lot of problems that money can't touch, and those will get you down.
Yes, and that's the thing is that was funny that it kind of came up in the conversation, and when I paid for this, like talking to Adam about this, he's like, the poker money is amazing because it's just like this slush fund of like
it's money unaccounted for. Yeah,
that's unaccounted for, right? Like if I put this $150 on a credit card that I knew I was gonna have to pay off later in the month, right? It's gonna come out of our bank account. It's gonna be annoying. I'm gonna be like, oh man, I paid $150 to like ride a mile. Like it's ridiculous, right? But if it's just like comes out of the poker winnings, like, this is what this is for. This is like fun money, whatever. So
yeah, what are the odds that this is the first time Jamie's hearing about the $11,000 profit? Is that does she know about it yet, or is this okay? All right, I didn't know how fun the fun money is.
She's okay with it being the slush fund, but that's all right. I mean, it's like if I was a professional poker player, you can't treat it that way, obviously. But this is a little different. So I use it as like, it's a little bit of a slush fund for other stuff. Don't worry, Jamie uses it as a slush fund too. A large part of the poker bankroll has gone off into random people at the house who need cash for things and all that stuff. So whatever, it's like a reason you end up with some money around the house. Although I do deposit kind of the bulk of it just to not have too much money sitting around the house. But but so while you're out with it, you just won it. There you go. Poppy State.
It's not like solidified. It's not locked in until you get on the plane out of Vegas.
Right.
And then when you get on the plane out of Vegas and you're like, I have $11,000. You don't care that you don't have $11,150.
Exactly.
You're like, I came out up $11K. I'm a genius.
I'm still up, baby. That's all that matters.
I get it. No, I totally get it. That's why they give you chips, because they want you to think like that while you're in the casino.
Oh,
it's disassociation. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and 100% why they do that, and it works fantastically.
It works fantastic.
Here's chips, sure. Like,
Oh,
tipping,
Diet
here's
Coke,
$10.
$25. Yeah, here's one chip. That makes sense to me.
Yep. Oh, you're pushing in $1,000 into a pot. Oh, that's not. This is just these 10 chips. That's not like money there, but. Yeah,
we got to start a casino. What a racket!
I even won money playing roulette. It was quite a
Ian,
money-winning.
That's degenerate stuff, man. You can't be playing
degenerate.
roulette.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I like to get the comps and the free rooms. So you got to give the casino like a little love back. Like they want you to play the games they know you're going to lose at. So that kind of balances that out. They don't give you much credit for playing poker. They're not going to give you many free rooms just because you play poker. So a little roulette. I like roulette because it's the opposite of poker. No thinking, pick a number, spin the wheel.
Pure chance. Odds are stacked against you.
There's literally nothing to think about. Like there's just like, I like the number 24. Great. Let's put $10 on it. That's that. But yeah, Vegas is great. I love Vegas. Yeah. So this is the thing I did think about, but I didn't. At Poppy Steak, they had a $1,000 scotch of the Macallan, which is the only scotch I generally drink. 30-year Macallan.
One glass for $1,000
for $1,000. I was tempted, but I didn't pull the trigger on that one.
Oh my gosh, no way.
That was a little too much for the slush fund. I was like, that might be going too far.
Also, scotch. Imagine paying $1,000 and then drinking a charred campfire. Like that sounds awful.
No, that's why I gotta have the Macallan. Have you had the Macallan?
No.
Okay. Next time we're together, we're gonna have the Macallan.
Okay. Next time you're up $11,000, I'll let you buy me some Macallan.
In Denver, we're gonna have the Macallan.
There we go.
It tastes like Christmas morning. It tastes like a summer.
I don't know.
Day.
All those peaty scotches taste like a campfire to me.
That's what I agree. I don't like those. Macallan is totally different. You're gonna love the Macallan.
All right. I'll be open-minded to that.
Yeah. I thought about extending Denver by a day. There is some poker in Denver. It's up in the mountains, but we go on vacation right after. I don't want to go early for a couple reasons. Probably not happening, but yeah.
But you know what probably is happening?
Uh-oh.
The Mostly Technical Day Zero party.
What?
That's mostly definitely happening.
When did this happen? Are you sure?
I'm mostly definitely sure.
Mostly sure.
I'm not going to give out any details yet because I don't have any.
Yeah. We're working on stuff,
but we're working on it, and I think that we've passed the more likely than not threshold. I think we're well past that threshold. We're well into like the 75-80% it's going to happen threshold.
I feel like that's correct.
So
we are going to be having a party.
We are going to be having a Mostly Technical party night zero is I think the plan. So y'all get in town. In time to come to the Mostly Technical party.
Which I like that it's the night before because I feel like almost everybody should be there. You know,
I agree.
It's like, most people aren't coming in the morning of the conference. So hopefully everybody's there. Try not to come in late. I guess that's the main thing. Like, don't come in at 11 being like, oh, there's nothing going on. There's stuff going on.
There's stuff going on, baby.
Come on in. We're going to have a party. It's probably going to be ticketed. So we'll let you know about that. But you can get a ticket because it's going to be in a space that's, only holds so many people, but it's a good number of people.
Probably going to be free to the end user, but ticketed nonetheless.
Yes, free. That's what we're thinking anyway. I think free.
Yeah, probably.
Unless you all want to pay us money. Maybe we can have a tip jar.
I love a tip jar.
Yeah,
they walk in, we turn around the iPad, we say, how much do you want to tip to be here? We haven't done anything, but how much do you want to tip? That's perfect. I love that.
Shout out to the Laravel Inc. crew and Hank over there and Samantha.
Yep.
Their name, Samantha. Because they've been helping us kind of put it together. And I think it's going to be cool. I'm pretty excited about it. And
by helping us put it together, you mean mostly doing all the work. So just so we're clear. Yeah.
We're the talent.
That's right. That's right. You think Matthew McConaughey plans his own parties? Come on. We're McConaughey, baby.
Back there being like, here's what's going to do the curtain and this thing and getting the lighting people. No.
I don't know. I've heard he's pretty meticulous, but yeah. We're definitely not doing that. That's for sure.
No, we need help. We need helpers. We can't do this on our own.
We need so much help.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a party. People are going to hang out. I don't know if we're going to, I think we're not really doing anything. We're just like, it's just going to be a gathering.
Just going to be a gathering. Just a welcome party.
Yeah. We thought about recording, but adds a lot.
And I don't know. Then it's like 30 minutes to an hour of people sitting around listening to us, and what if it's not, what if it's not funny, which it obviously would be, but
it'd be funny.
Come on. I don't know. It's just, I'd rather be amongst the people,
Yeah, I think so. Plus you're emceeing the event, so it's like that's a whole, you're busy to begin with and all that. So yeah, I think we'll start this year's gathering. Maybe we'll layer on more stuff in the future, but yeah, that's gonna be exciting. I'm very excited about that. The Day Zero party. So get your Laracon tickets. Yeah. You'll hear more about them in a bit.
But right now, you're going to hear about some of our other sponsors.
Yes.
This episode is sponsored by Bento. Bento is the transactional and marketing email provider that we use at TryHard Studios. Check them out at bentonow.com for all of your email sending needs. This episode is also sponsored by WorkOS AuthKit. They have a new starter kit. So Laravel 12's new starter kits include WorkOS AuthKit, so you can choose that as your scaffolding your app. Future-proof your authentication stack with the identity layer trusted by OpenAI. Ever heard of them? Cursor, Perplexity, and Vercel. Check them out at workos.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring the show.
Very cool. So you were traveling this week too.
I was traveling. Just a podcast about town. I too saw Taylor. So Taylor had a big weekend. Got to see both halves of Mostly Technical. Lucky Taylor. Lucky him.
What a lucky guy.
Everyone should be so lucky. Yes, so I went to React Miami this past week.
Yes.
And it was very different. First of all, it was a lot of fun, and I think that is one of the main things that they're optimizing for is a lot of fun. It felt like spring break for developers. I mean, people were just cutting loose, man. So yeah, I went as stand-in co-host for a podcast called Whiskey Web and Whatnot, which is very fun. They drink whiskey and talk about the internet. It's like, yeah, I could get behind that. So I went to help hold down the booth. So I had a few responsibilities, but not too many. I think we did 3 interviews on one day and then maybe just one the next day. So I wasn't terribly busy, which was nice. But yeah,
they were interviews. I didn't think you were interviewing. I thought you were shooting shit, but you were interviewing people.
I mean, that is kind of, hey, how's your father? But it is an interview. So yeah, very casual though. Day 0 went to the party at Dax's house. Saw a lot of friends there. Saw the whole terminal crew, all the coffee boys. Then a bunch of Cloudflare folks. I sent them your best. I said my co-host Ian says thank you for the stock appreciation.
I didn't know.
And then I told him to get back to work. I got a shareholder who's pinging me, and he's like, "Y'all got to quit partying." Yeah,
they got to get back to work. What the hell is going on?
So that was fun. A lot of Cloudflare people there, which they're all I can't speak for all of them, but all the ones I met were wonderful. Just absolutely a delight.
Matthew Prince only hires wonderful people.
Apparently, or at least he only sends the wonderful ones to conferences, because all the ones I met were wonderful.
Dax is a big Cloudflare guy also.
He is big Cloudflare guy.
Part of the thing.
One funny situation I found myself in was I was talking to a woman that works at Cloudflare. And I was like, oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, cool. I know this guy that works at Cloudflare. I follow him. I don't know him personally, but I follow him. And he's super cool. And I really like him. Do you work with him at all? And she kind of smiled. And I was like, uh-oh, did I step in it? Like, what's going on here? She smiled and kind of laughed. And she said, yeah, I know him. That's actually my husband. I'm married to him. And I was that's crazy. Different last names. Obviously, I didn't know, but like, talk about the ultimate happy, like opposite of stepping in it was, hey, I know this guy on the internet. I love him. He's awesome. Do you know him? And she says, know him. I'm married to him. I was like, that's crazy.
You do.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you're so lucky. So that was fun. And then lots of Neon people, the database, lots of Neon people there. They sent their best and brightest. Very fun. Yeah, I saw Guillermo Rauch at Dax's party, and Guillermo and Dax took a picture together, and I'm like, I thought you guys were mortal enemies. Like, is this all a facade? Is this all pretend?
Yeah.
So they took this picture. Guillermo came bearing gifts. He rolled in this large wooden horse and was like, "Don't look inside of it. It's fine." I'm just kidding. He came bearing a it was like this really fancy like chocolate dessert. Walked in and was like, "Hey, I brought a gift." I was like, what a classy guy. So yeah, that was very confusing.
All right. Look at that.
That was very confusing to me that they're like buds. I really thought they were enemies.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe everything on the internet is not as sincere as I thought it was. Right. And then shocking.
They're kind of at different levels. I mean, Guillermo's like running this giant company. Dax is like in a startup. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to be mortal enemies. Like in that regard.
I think Guillermo and Matthew Prince maybe are actually mortal enemies, and maybe Guillermo and Dax are just hamming it up for the people. Who can say?
I think that could be, yeah.
And then Dax's dog bit somebody.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very bad. And apparently Dax's dog bit somebody last year.
What?
Yes. He bit apparently this dog bit Sam Selikov last year.
Oh my god.
And like drew blood. That. Yes. And this year it bit Taylor Desson, not Taylor Otwell, Taylor Desson, the recruiter guy. Bit him on the butt, ripped his pants, drew blood, and Taylor had to go to the urgent care.
I mean, that's a real bite. If
that's a real bite from a Doberman. Yes.
That's like a real bite.
And I'm like, what the hell is this dog doing out here if it bit somebody last year?
Oh, boy.
I know.
Don't let OSHA hear about Dax's house.
Jeez, no kidding. So
that
kind
of feels on brand, to be honest.
It is kind of on brand, yeah.
No, the dog's got to bite somebody next year now, too,
I know. It's just not great. And
kind of like this. Like, it's a little danger in going.
A little danger coming to the party. Yeah. Hey, come over, have a drink. I don't know what'll happen.
I think it's great. I think you shouldn't be going to Dax's being like, oh, this is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
You want to be on edge at Dax's house.
If you're at Dax's, you got to have eyes in the back of your head.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you want to know what's going on, who's around.
Am I going to get made fun of? Is the dog going to bite me? What's going on?
Anything can happen. Yeah. Somebody's going to put a bag over my head. Anything possible.
Yeah, exactly.
At Dax's house.
So that was kind of wild.
Probably the dog, it's a lot of people probably not used to that,
Yeah, fool me once, put the dog in the backyard or like in the, in the closet or something.
Gotta live dangerously.
No, not when you're hosting a party. So
I heard it was wild. I heard there was like Ken Wheeler was in rare form and maybe a little sleepy on the panel.
Ken Wheeler fell asleep. He's the MC. So we'll jump ahead a little bit. That was day 0. We'll jump ahead to the panel. So we got this panel with Guillermo Rauch, Taylor Otwell, and then these two guys I've never heard of, but apparently they created React. Yeah. So
about them.
Rando to me, but everybody else was starstruck. They're on this panel. It's a little low energy, and then somebody answers one of the panelists answers the final question that had been asked, and it just goes silent. And everybody's kind of like looking around. The whole thing's been a little awkward. Everybody's just kind of like looking around. And then Madison, who is one of the co-MCs, like elbows Ken, and Ken just kind of like pops up. He had fallen asleep on stage. Fallen asleep.
It's like a conference in name only. It's just like
name only. This is a party. This is a conference wrapped in a party. Yeah, it was. I was like, what is going on
here?
Dude,
that's a high bar.
That's a high bar. I know. I'm gonna have to stay awake during my MC duties. That's crazy.
See, I feel like you got to go the opposite direction. Like, what can you do to be even more like outrageous and inappropriate?
Literally nothing. There's nothing left.
More than fall asleep is hard. Like,
there's nothing left.
No show is kind of different. Like, no show, it's like they're just gonna route around it and be like, okay, well, we'll make it work, and they're not here or whatever. But like when you're on stage and you're supposed to be there and you're physically there, but you're not mentally there. You're not aware of what's going on around you.
Not ideal. We'll say that.
Great. Dude, you got to come up with something for this. I'm telling you. I think you could top it.
I think what I'm going to come up with for Laracon is I'm going to faithfully execute my duties. I think that's kind of like my MO.
That's too on brand for you.
No, that's kind of always my plan. Like
counterculture.
What am I supposed to do and how can I do that to the best of my abilities? That's kind of my move.
Boring, dude.
Everybody has moves. That one just happens to be mine. So yeah, kind of off the rails. It was
Miami.
Oh, dude, it was there was a lot going on. Fortunately, I had a posse. We love a posse.
Love a posse. That's how I got a posse this week too.
We love a posse.
So good.
So the posse was Joe T, friend of the pod.
Oh, Joe T was there.
PHP NYC Joe T. So he was there. John O'Nolan, whom we love, creator, founder of Ghost.org. Big fan of John O'Nolan. Then we had the Hank Taylor, marketing at Laravel.
All right.
Yep. And then we had this other guy named Josiah, who just kind of, Josiah, if you're listening, great hang, sweet hang. Guy came out of nowhere. This guy came out of nowhere. He's a Canadian
guy. Right there. That's all
every posse needs a Canadian.
Yeah, the Canadian.
So he was our Canadian. He came out of nowhere and was just he was just there the whole time and always a delight. Just a sweet hang. We love a sweet hang.
You can just do things. You can just introduce yourself and end up as part of a posse.
You can just become part of a posse. It's that easy. So it was great. It was a blast. Leah from Laravel was also there, but she was speaking, so she was a little more sparse. But yeah, I rolled around with Joe T, John, and Hank, and Josiah, and it was just we had our little crew. It was awesome.
So you were there day 0.
Yep.
And day 1.
Day 1.
And day 2.
And day 2, I flew out. This is not a move I do very often, but I flew out at 9:30 on day 2, 9:30 p.m.
Okay. So you were there the whole thing, though.
I was there the whole thing.
Okay.
But it ended on a Friday, and Saturdays are childcare. It's a childcare drought, so I had to be home Saturday morning. Yeah. So yeah, I was there the whole time. Had a nice partying dinner with the posse, and then grabbed my bags and went to the airport. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Taylor was there. Taylor was at Dax's party, and then was there, I think, just day 1, and then flew out for Vegas. He was part of the posse for a little bit. He can be an honorary member, but he wasn't a full member. So
yeah, he wasn't there every minute like the rest of the crew.
No, sorry, Big T. So it was great. I had a lot of fun. It was a very stark difference from a Laracon. Just the vibe was very different. And I think part of that is Miami as a city has its own vibe.
Right. And they're leaning into it heavy.
Yes, the React Miami crew leans into the vibe of Miami. Yeah. I was eating breakfast alone on day 2, which is not sad. It's awesome.
No,
great. I was at a little coffee shop just a block from the venue and eating breakfast alone and just enjoying my freedoms. Joe T and John O'Nolan walked in, and so we all sat down together, and I said to Joe, I was like, you know what I've realized? Miami's just a very sexual city. And Joe laughed, and he was like, you're just now realizing this? And I'm like, I am. And I've noticed, I'll tell you, Joe, it's very different from Dallas. And he put his head in his hands and was like, something I'm coming up with on the spot. This is an original insight. Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody's ever heard this about Miami before. And he thought,
Man.
So it was good. It was a lot of fun. It's very different than Laracon, and I am very much looking forward to Laracon. But
Laracon takes on the persona of the founder. I feel like
I think it does.
Taylor's very chill, and so Laracon's very chill. And I think that's fun. Look, we talked about this before, but the Laravel community is kind of very chill because that's how it's put together. I think, intentionally. So yeah, but that's good. So everything went well then.
Everything went well. Podcasting went well. I did. We had a sit down, so we had a full hour podcast with Guillermo, which was fun. Yeah.
Wow. So how were you able to hold up your end of the Reactness? Were you on call for doing any Reactness, or you were just talking? You were going through more businessy stuff, or
businessy stuff, color commentary, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So that was fun. And then I was a part of Terminal Feud. So the coffee shop boys played Family Feud on stage.
Oh, yes,
and I was a part of that, and went literally head to head with Guillermo. So I don't know.
Big Vercel
Vercel's everywhere. Vercel's everywhere. So they call, if you've ever seen Family Feud, they call people out to the middle to hit the button real fast. And so I came out and Guillermo came out, and they had told us backstage hey, y'all try to like hype it up a little bit,
right.
boo the other team, that sort of thing, like amp up the bravado. And so Guillermo and I walked out to the middle, and somehow we both had the same idea to pretend like we were boxers, and we touched foreheads together, me and Guillermo. So I'm standing on the stage, I'm like, like forehead to forehead with Guillermo Rauch, and we're like beating our chests, and I'm like, what? How am I here? What is going on?
Like, you can just do things.
Yeah, exactly. So It was fun. It was good.
Did you win?
No, we didn't win. Actually, we got bamboozled. Yeah, got really. I think I think the Terminal Boys play fast and loose with like the rules of the game and like what are the actual answers. And so
was
they
this
might
on stage at
this
the
is on
conference,
stage. This is like the last thing, or maybe second to last thing of the conference. So it was fun. It was a good bit. I'm glad that they did that.
Interesting way to keep people there for day 2. A lot of times you lose people on day 2. It's like, hey, we got some fun stuff and stuff's happening in addition to the talks. That's kind of an interesting idea.
Yep.
Family Feud. Jeez. Okay. So any other tidbits? Anything else we need to know?
No.
Any good dinners?
Yeah, we had the last night. The Laravel crew went to a dinner. It was like Korean barbecue.
I've never been to Korean barbecue, which is crazy. There's tons of them in New York, but I've never been.
Awesome. I was able to eat like 75% of the things that were offered.
Wow.
It was great.
It
was so good. And it's one of those, we did the omakase menu, which is for the people who are not as cultured as I am. It was where the chef chooses, and so they just bring it out and they cooked it in a little thing right in front of you. So, they brought out all the meat, and then they would like cook it in front of you, and then they would serve it to you. And you got like, they probably did 6 different offerings. And it was great. It was very, very good. There was one that was like, hey, this is raw meat with caviar on top. And I was like, that sounds delightful for my neighbor, and passed it over to Leah, But yeah, that was probably the best. That was probably the best dinner for sure.
Was this like in Miami, or like was it
several people have asked me that
there, or is it like,
and I have no idea.
Could you see the ocean?
I saw the water. Yeah.
So from the hotel, you were
from the hotel. I saw a little channel with these freaking huge yachts just cruising through. I'm like, how do you? Where's all this money coming from?
I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. That like probably the most dense amount of wealth I've ever seen in my own eyes was like in Miami Bay when we took that boat out there. It's just like yacht after yacht after yacht, huge house, like man, it's crazy. A lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we
gotta get that yacht money.
We gotta get that yacht money, man. But all in all, good conference. Very much a party conference. So if that's what you're looking for, go to React Miami next year. That's a lot of fun.
I like a good party conference. I think it's good to have all types of conferences. I think there was a point in the past where there was like every party was a party conference, or every conference was a party conference, and maybe that wasn't the best. But I think if you have a little more balance, it's like I feel like React Miami is perfect too, because like they are making it very clear that this is a party conference, right? So like you're not showing up there and not aware that people are going to be partying.
Correct.
So then you can self-select out if that's not your thing, or if it is your thing, then you can select in, and that's all great. So cool. That is the one non like Laravel conference I'm interested in going to at some point, is React Miami, and checking that out, even though I'm not a huge partier, but
next year,
maybe next year it'll happen.
Nuno live streamed the entire thing 2 days straight. Like there was a React Miami live stream, and Nuno live streamed himself watching the live stream for 2 days straight. Just like, dude, that seems brutal. But he said he'll be going next year. He was like, I gotta go to this next year. So the Laravel contingent might grow.
Wow, I didn't know Nuno was like a React guy. I don't think I've ever heard him talk about React.
Yeah,
I think they use it there, so I guess.
Yeah, I think with cloud, they've all become a little bit more React-y, which back to what I was saying last week, the world is moving to React. If it hasn't already, it's going to. It's over. This view is done.
So what'd you wrap up there with Fusion?
Yeah, so I feel very good about it. Basically, I need to like write a post that says it's dead. But I feel very good about it being dead, and no one has reached out and been like, oh man, I was really looking forward to it. So good sign already. Several people
about it.
Several kind people reached out and was like, hey, I'm really sorry to hear this. I'm like, oh, thanks, that's nice. And then a few people have reached out and said, hey, I think Fusion is close, but like it needs, to fundamentally change, and here are my ideas for changing it. And I'm like, yeah, those are pretty good ideas. Not really something I want to pursue right now. But some people were like, I liked some parts of this, and it needs to live on in some way. I'm like, sure, maybe. And I talked to Taylor and Joe at React Miami, and I asked Joe, I was like, so now that it's dead, you're the inertia guy. What do you think? And he was like, I think what you did is technically very, very amazing, very impressive. It's just, it's not for me. I was like, great. That's a, great response. Totally what I was intuiting from the people. And I told Taylor, I apologized to Taylor. I was like, hey man, yeah, you shake your head. So did he. He was like, I don't care. I was like, hey, sorry I made this, big spectacle and did this Laracon EU thing, and then turns out it didn't work. And he's like, man, that's fine. I don't care at all. Like, you did it and it didn't work. Why would I care? That's how it goes. I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. Huh.
That's an interesting take.
Maybe I have some inner work to do there. That's interesting. But yeah, I feel a relief about it for sure.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So we're in a good spot there then.
We're in a good spot there. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. But let's pay the bills.
Let's pay the bills, baby.
We got a few more things to
speaking of conferences.
Here. Yeah. Thank you to our friends at Laracon US 2025, if you can believe that. Laracon is calling all web artisans, come to Denver, ready to level up, Eve, ready to ship. And you can check them out at laracon.us. Is that right? Yeah, laracon.us. There's a short link in the description.
There's a short link in the description, and you should click on it.
You should click on it so that they know you clicked on it. But if you don't click on it, you go to laracon.us. It'll take you right there. Buy a ticket. We're going to be there. We're going to have a party, 80% likely, and it's going to be great. We're definitely going to be there, so that's for sure. And also, thanks to our friends at Native PHP for mobile. Turn your Laravel project into a native mobile app ready for the app stores in minutes with Native PHP for mobile. Check out nativephp.com/mobile. Again, a really cool community project there. So check that out.
iOS and Android now. They're cooking.
Yeah. I mean, like, we talked about this before, but I do want to do a mobile app at some point. I know you do. Some point in my life, I would like to do a mobile app. Like all that distribution. I know. Just there.
It's just there.
A lot of competition out there too, but still distribution. All right. So I'm in my pod on the plane. Okay. I have the whole row to myself. It's one seat in the row. Okay. And it's mine. And I'm in the pod. Okay. And I'm sitting back. I'm in the relax mode. I'm leaning back. Okay. Got my laptop out. You know what I do right then?
Tell me. What do you do?
I put on Aaron Francis.
No, that's what I do. You old dog. You old dog. What did you watch?
I watched your video about how you're laying out the schema and
we love a schema layout,
models and all this stuff.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched. It's an hour and 6 minutes or whatever. I watched every minute.
What, Ian?
You're great.
You're doing too much. Well, what did you think?
I loved it. Everybody should watch this video. I think it was so useful, and I really love the whole. What it is you are going through the database design, basically, and somewhat the code mindset of the course selling platform. I don't know what you're actually calling this thing, but
close enough.
It has a name. Of what you're building. As we've talked about on the show, you're building this full store cart system for all the different courses, so you can cross sell and you can have free versions and you can have all upsells and whatever, all that stuff. And so you went through the whole database design of it, and it was great because I especially love that you start with like your kind of naive take, and then we got to see your whole evolution. It's not just like, oh, here's what we came up with, let's look at this chart, right? It's like, no, let's start with the kind of basics, and we need to handle this, then we need to do that, and we got this other thing, and That TL Draw app is like
Oh, it's
amazing, and
great.
you're an expert in it. It
It's
seems like
great.
you got it
Yeah.
all. It was all beautiful and like
Uh-huh.
it looked great. You need to do more of this stuff. I don't even know how. I don't know what the angle is, but
I
I
think
thought that was
so.
awesome, and I think it was like it was just like I learned stuff for sure, and it was just cool to see the thought process there. So no, it was
God, it's
really
great
good.
feedback.
Yeah.
And it's novel, right? Not everybody's doing
Yes.
that.
No. I mean, I don't know how an hour video performs, but I liked it. Like, I thought it needed the hour. I think if you
Yeah.
tried to do it in less, I don't think it would have been as good. The most impressive part is I think it was an hour and I was never bored. It wasn't like, all right, we're in the database, dry zone where,
Yeah.
I mean, because you weren't really even talking, you didn't get too nerdy on the database. It was like a beautiful balance. It was just, you kept it high enough level that's like, this is like the business goals and this is what we're trying to do and this is how we're going to do it so that it all makes sense when we build it out, blah blah. But you didn't go all the way down into like here's every column and all that kind of stuff, which obviously you needed to do for yourself at some point, but or maybe there could be a video that gets deep into some of that, but I think for that video it was great that it was just like at a little bit higher level. Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
God, that just made my day. That's amazing.
Woo-hoo! More videos. I love the Aaron Francis videos.
That is a ringing endorsement from Ian. Yeah. I know you're partial to databases, but that is a ringing endorsement. That makes me feel really good. I did like I very much enjoyed doing that video. And it's a little bit of a different style because I've never done one of those like just TL Draw only videos. Yeah. And I like it. And I got a lot of really good comments on like that kind of aspect of it, which is like we need more of these real world problem solving and less of the like watch me make a to-do app. Which is encouraging for me because I don't want to make to-do apps, right? Because my thing is not like let's explore every new stack as it comes out and ride all the hype waves, which is like a viable content strategy for like a generalist, but that's not what I want to do with my life. Like I want to just keep doing Laravel and Vue and hopefully making a lot of money, fingers crossed. So like I'm kind of out in the cold in terms of people will be like, hey, what do you think of the new release of Svelte? And I'm like, I don't know, freaking clue. Never even looked at it. So the fact that people liked this deep dive into some of the more like businessy problems as they relate to databases is really encouraging for me because I can do a lot of those.
I even think just like the format of the TL Draw for a video, I thought was awesome. Like way better than if you were bringing up your code editor and looking at migrations and like that kind of thing, and
because that would have been too in the weeds or what?
No, not even the weeds part. I just think visually, like for like when you're watching a video and it's like code, I just feel like I could not sit through an hour of like we're looking at every migration and you're talking about the databases and I'm like you see the columns, like it like cleans it up and you could really see the interconnection because that's what it obviously you were showing with the arrows and stuff, and like I just thought I kept it at the right level and visually it was pleasing and you could zoom in to get to like a detailed part, but then you could zoom out and we could see the whole thing together. And I think that was so effective. And I feel like you could even do that for other types of things where it's just like I'm drawing the boxes and I'm making connections. And like that's just a great format for like that little bit higher level discussion of something.
Yeah. It's interesting because I agree with what you just said. I think you can do that for other things. Because in my head, when I'm like coding, and I'm sure most people are this way, you have some sort of visual of like how these classes interact with each other or how this flow is like laid out. And it may just be, background jobs that hand off to background jobs. But in your head, there's like that diagram exists in your head, even if it's just code. And so having the ability to quickly and aesthetically draw out those diagrams, I think is pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm going to adopt that more moving forward.
I think so. I think you could find a spot for that to like fold it in places because it was very effective, I feel like, in communicating that over the video and being able to like zoom in, zoom out, see the big picture, drill down in. And then, you did hop over to code a few times a little bit, but so you could obviously just go back and forth where it makes sense. But yeah, no, I dug it. Now I gotta look into this tool. I'm like, I need this tool.
I know.
I need to do this for my own stuff. Like, I gotta get
you
know
what's
here.
You know what's funny? This tool is called TL Draw. TLDraw.com. No sponsor, but we do love them. So TL Draw, my very first publish your work, increases your luck. That very first talk that I gave, TL Draw was one of the examples in that talk. And so you can go back. Like, the GitHub Universe one isn't recorded, but Laracon Nashville, actually, Laracon EU that year, I think, was not recorded. So you can go to the Laracon Nashville talk and go find an example. Like, there's a middle section of that talk where I talk about examples. And one of them is TL Draw. And the thing I said about TL Draw is, this guy is so excited about this SVG whiteboard thing that he has like amassed this following of people who are really excited about it. And now he's able to go full time on it. Oh, wow. And my comment about that was, I have no idea what his tool is. I have no need for it. I will probably never use it, but I am like following along because he's very excited. I said those things out of my mouth. And then a few weeks ago, I was like, man, I wonder if TL Draw is good for this. And so like 4 years later, after I started following this guy, I'm like, oh, this is actually the best tool in the world. How funny. So yeah, marketing, attribution is hard, because now I've converted, and it was like, well, I started following the guy 4 years ago. How do you track that?
That is funny. I didn't realize it was like a guy, like, and that was like that small a thing,
Yeah, it was. I think he just recently raised $10 million.
Yeah, I just see that now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because you can use it for free, and the watermark always has to be there. If you're a business using TL Draw SDK in production, what the heck's the SDK?
So I think his whole business model is there's like a free version that you can come and use as a consumer. But if you want to embed something like this in your app, then you can use his SDK, and you have like, many thousands of hours of work already done.
Interesting. Okay. Because there's like the only pricing on here is $6,000 a year. And I was like, that seems a little pricey for a drawing app, but that's not. It's like to embed this in your product.
You'll appreciate this. Somewhere on his pricing, and I'm not looking at it, but somewhere on there is like, the price is, we'll say, $1,000 a month. And then the next price over is like $2,000 a month. And the only difference is you need to talk to us. So for like, if you need to talk to legal, or you need us to sign a contract or whatever, it's an extra $1,000 a month or something like that.
I think that he's changed that. Yeah, because the pricing now is just $6,000, and you have to contact them even to get that.
Man, it was so good that he had that on there. Let me see.
Yeah, not they raised the money. They're probably trying to.
Probably so.
Do it a little differently. That's sort of interesting, though. You can embed this. That's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
I feel like I want to do something with this. What kind of product do I need to have a drawing thing embedded into my app for?
And he's gone a long way. He's gone a long way on AI stuff. And so like you can actually use this to like build out kind of like AI workflows, basically.
Really?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't fully understand how that works, but on Twitter, I'm always seeing him like draw a box and then an arrow to another box, and it like flows through and does like an AI process. It's like, what in the world? Okay. Oh yeah, they totally changed this pricing. Oh, that's too bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, right?
I like this tool because I was actually there was a couple things I wanted to like sketch out, some ideas, and I was going to use Whimsical, which I know people sometimes like, but I think I'm going to try TL Draw instead because this looks really good.
There you go. And that's how it's done.
Look at that.
Influencing.
Get the YouTubers using it. That's the dream.
I know.
Great. What other videos do you have in the queue for us? You got anything coming?
I've got one coming. I've got a sponsored video coming out soon. So
hey, I haven't heard about sponsored videos in a while.
We got one coming. And then I will probably do a similar long form video on that thing I talked about last week, Dead Drop, command. And I have decided, you know what? I'm just not going to make it into a package. I'm just over it.
Okay.
Just, open source
from the open source for
take a little breather. Let's make some money instead of giving stuff away for free.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's the kind of thing too. People are going to be like the security thing and the other thing.
I need the configuration.
Yeah,
I have this, VPS. I'm like, I don't understand anything that you're trying to do here.
You can just do that anytime anyway. You don't need to do
So anyone that's listening, feel free to just run with it. That's great. It's all yours. So yeah, I've got that, and then I've got a couple other ideas. I'm trying to pick up the cadence. And that was one thing with the schema video, was like, that is the video that I wanted to make, and it was easy to make, and it felt good. And I'm going to do more videos like that, ones that I just want to make. I think there's an easy trap to fall into where it's like analysis paralysis of what does the algorithm want, what is currently hot, like what has never been done before. And you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm just going to make videos that I want to make, and we'll see what happens.
That's what got you here, right? I feel like, that's, you don't need to, occasionally there might be something really obvious that's like, oh, we really should cover this, and you'll do it. But like, yeah, I think for most of the time you should be like, what are you interested in? Those are the ones that are going to come out best, like,
I think so.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that video, you were obviously like into it, and you had thought it through, like the actual problem you had thought through, and that came through very clearly, and you knew what you were doing and why you were doing it, and you had good advice embedded in there, which was cool. And then the presentation was great. So yeah, I think that seems like the plan is, and if you're interested in it, then the audience is more likely to be interested in it. Whereas if you're just like floating through because you feel like you have to do it, probably not the best.
And then I just become if I'm just doing what is hot, I just become another talking head YouTuber, and there's no part of me that wants to exist in that universe.
Yeah, like there's which you do, it does work, but it's also like, for the person doing it, it's like I follow like several like photography channels, right? And it's like, whenever like a new lens comes out, right, it's like everybody gets the lens, and then everybody does the review of the lens, and it's like they're all like the same. And they're all just like, okay, I got to go somewhere interesting to try to like show you this lens, but I only have one day. So I like just like did a few, it's just like, and they're all like that. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So I think that's the right play.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Right. There will be more.
All right, you have another item on here. What's up with this?
All right. So I know that you listened to the Jordan Gall episode, but you remember none of it. So I'll give you a little refresher here. Yeah. I was at a restaurant, I was at a restaurant many weeks ago, a few months ago, met this twin dad. And this is a thing I do quite often. If I see somebody out with twins, it's 100% I'm going to talk to them. Twins are an insulin pump. I'm basically like, hey, what's the deal? So I talked to this guy, and, we talk for a little bit, and then they leave. And then I'm there again a few weeks later. So now, maybe 2 weeks ago, and the guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, you're the twin dad, right? Yeah. Can I get your number? I'm having, a hard time making friends. Just moved here. Told Jordan, bravest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, is a man saying I would like to be friends. Like, good for you, guy. Wild, so got his number. And so that guy is at like a dinner restaurant. I also take the big kids to breakfast every Saturday morning. Without fail, me and the big kids going to breakfast every Saturday morning, always to the same place, obviously. Come on. What would you expect from me? Yeah. And there's another twin dad that does the same. So at this other restaurant, there's this guy, probably my age-ish. He's got two, I want to say they're like 2-year-old boys. And so it's him and his boys, and then his dad. So it's like really cool. It's like, 3 generations of men of this family, and the wife is staying at home with a new baby they just had. And so it's kind of the exact same situation, right? Mm-hmm. And so he and I have talked a whole bunch of times. So I, like a week ago, walked up and was like, hey, man, I met this other twin dad. He's like looking for some friends. Can I get your number? And we like go out and just like get a beer together. And he's like, I would love that. That would be awesome. So I got this guy's number, right? So then I think it was yesterday. No, yesterday was Monday. I think it was Sunday. So Saturday or Sunday, I'm running an errand with the babies, and I'm like at Target doing a pickup, as one does here in the big city. And I see this couple walking with what are obviously twins. And so I roll up, I'm on my way out. I roll up in the minivan, non-threatening, roll my window down, and I realize I've met this guy before. I met this guy at Mi Cocina. Apparently, I'm at restaurants all the time. So are other twin dads. I've met this guy. And so I roll up and roll down my window and I'm like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. How old? Oh, 2 years. Oh, I got the 16-month-olds with me. And he's like, where are the other ones? And I'm like, okay, so I've definitely met this guy. I know this guy.
He knows your story.
Yes. And I think this guy used to live in the neighborhood that we lived in when we were renting. And so I feel like I know you, I know your wife. We've talked before. And so I gave him the pitch. I was like, hey man,
starting to meet up.
I was like, here's the deal. Me and these 2 other dads, twin dads, are going to go get beers on Friday. Can I get your number? And do you want to come? And he's like, yeah, I would love that. So in a few days, 3 days, 4 days from now, me and 3 other twin dads are going to go to this restaurant and have a beer. And just, we're going to start the twin dads commiseration / support group.
Dude, this is amazing.
How about that, right? Isn't that the wildest thing?
Incredibly on brand too. It's like you can just do things. You can just start a twin dad meetup, right?
Why not?
Accident. Like,
yeah.
That's cool. So everybody can make it. All 3 of them.
So I know that the original 2 can make it. Then the other one, we've already got the date and time set. So we'll see if he can make it. But hopefully there will be 4 of us at this little meetup. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Where are you going?
Just a little local. It's called Shady's. Just a little local burger spot where all the families go.
Nice.
But yeah, it'll be.
You can't go to the family spot. You don't have the kids with you, or do you have the kids with you?
We won't. No. It's post bedtime.
No kids.
Post bedtime. But it's one of those like
somewhere without kids.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those real casual spots where everybody in the neighborhood goes.
It's not the big commitment.
Right.
Wise or whatever too.
Yeah.
Like some fancy restaurant or whatever.
And you can kind of roll in and there are tables out on like a covered patio. It's just like it's an easy spot to go to. And it's very, very close to everybody. So you got to start low pressure on a first date. True. You got to keep it. Pressure. Yeah. You don't want to go somewhere fancy and do the whole thing. It's just like, come in whatever you're wearing. We're just going to Shady's. We'll have a beer. Maybe we'll have 2. We'll see where the night goes. And then that's it. And that's a good start.
Wow. I love this idea. That's amazing.
So if you're a twin dad in Dallas, just start going to the restaurants and you might make it in to this little circle. I may see you somewhere and be like, hey, those are twins, aren't they? Listen, let me get your number.
Just bring your twins everywhere with
you
in case you happen to run across Aaron.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, now you have something to actually say to people too, because it's like we have this group.
You gotta have a place.
It's an easy intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere to invite people to is a pretty big like necessity. If you're trying to start a thing, you need to have a standing, like you need to have the nugget, right? You need to have the, hey, I'm doing this at this time at this place with these, even if it's one other person, you should come. And then it's less pressure for the new person. So having a nucleus is pretty important.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome, man. That's great. I've never done anything like that. I should do something like that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Cool. It's funny because it's like a very easy little community. Oh, you're a twin dad. I'm a twin dad.
Right.
We'll start with that. Like we've got stuff to talk about. That's fine. Like we can just start there. And so that's super helpful.
It is also very like inherently a small niche, but also a niche that people self-identify with strongly. So it's like got both those kind of angles where like, yeah, it's like a logical thing. It's not like everybody's not included. Not everybody can do it. Right. But also the people who do have this situation are all very much aware that they're in this situation. And, I'm sure have similar war stories to
a little bit of like shared suffering to bind us. Oh man, we got to get a beer. You guys making it? Oh man, let's get together. That's great. That's what we want.
Oh man, just totally change the subject. But the cab driver I had, I'm getting in the cab to go home. Cab driver gets out. They're messing with the bag. Like the cab stand guy and the cab driver are like having a quick chat. And one of them said to the other one, what's the good word? I was like, whoa.
You were ready.
Wild.
Yes.
I was in the back. I couldn't even participate, but I heard it in the wild. So I thought that was cool.
What's the good word? A common expression amongst humans. Yes, I love that.
Oh boy.
Did the guy respond with anything?
I think he did. I couldn't hear the response, unfortunately, but
I love the responses.
Yeah, I would have liked to have the response, but
it's too bad.
All right, so you gotta do a website. You gotta do you gotta take it too far. You gotta have all kinds of stuff for your 4-person meetup.
No, this is underground only. This is if you know, you know. This is punk rock, baby.
Well, you have to report back Monday. We'll hear how you made out on your first date with the crew. That'll be cool.
I will. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, man. No, if we have anything else we need to cover here?
Nope, not on my side.
All right, I think we're good. Well, thank you, everybody. Check us out, mostlytechnical.com. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all the social media thingies, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.